Today, we are running the best of the Brad and Squeeze show, so sit back and enjoy your morning cup of coffee or your tea as we bring you criminal and immigration attorneys on the street, an interview with deported U.S. Army veteran Hector Barajas, a game of Bradified marriage, and the heartwarming story of a Spar and Bernstein client who had just finished her citizenship ceremony.
We're here today in New York City asking people questions about their rights. Let's find out how much they know. Can your Facebook or social media posts be used against you in a court of law?
Yes, it can be used against in a court of law.
Do you know why?
Because of privacy.
Okay.
Pretty sure it can.
Your social media posts can be used against you in the court of law.
Do you know why?
No, I really don't.
I'm aware that once they are on that social media site, they are owned by that social media site.
Absolutely. Be smart, people. Assume that anything you put on your social media can absolutely be used against you.
Everything you write, Snapchat, Facebook, text, email, all of that can be used against you later on, even if deleted.
Are you obligated to take a breathalyzer when the police pulls you over?
Yes. No.
I am not sure of what I would need to do.
It depends on what you're stopping me for. If I am driving and drinking, yes. If he smells alcohol on my breath, yes.
If I say no, then they would automatically think I'm guilty of drinking, which would probably be the case.
You're not obligated to take any test offered by the police department.
The walk and stand test, the portable breathalyzer at the scene of a DWI, you're not obligated to take any of those tests.
They can use that evidence against you later on in court.
Whenever you're pulled over by the police, the first thing you should do is call an attorney.
What do you do if police stops you for DWI?
You will get out of the vehicle and they will just make sure everything is great, and if everything's not great, then you will go down to the station and they'll arrest you.
You need to cooperate with the police because they are in charge.
The very first thing you should do is ask to speak to an attorney. And remember, people, you do not have to submit to these tests.
Don't tell them you had 2 drinks at a party, but you're not intoxicated. Don't answer any questions. Don't take any tests. Provide the police with the paperwork they requested and immediately ask for an attorney.
Do the police have to read your Miranda rights to you when they arrest you?
I would say they would have to, because you're not you're being arrested, but you're not in a crime. You're not doing a crime. So I would say yes.
I believe that the police have the right to read you your Miranda rights in that situation, just to let you know what's going on and what the priorities are and just the whole situation that you're in.
Miranda rights are all about TV and movies. There's actually no such thing as Miranda rights. The police only have to give you your Miranda warnings if they're going to question you.
If they are not read for whatever reason, that doesn't mean you should go run and say or incriminate yourself. Just assume that anytime you're dealing with the police and you're in that situation, anything you say will be used against you.
If you're in jail, is the Department of Corrections allowed to record your phone conversations?
If you are in jail, what did you say? No, I do not believe that they are allowed to record your phone conversations.
They absolutely can and will listen to your conversations.
Not only are they allowed, but they do it on every phone call.
Use your heads. You're in government custody. Do not speak on the phone, and definitely, absolutely not say anything that can incriminate you.
The only people they're not allowed to record is a conversation with your attorney. So be careful about what you say on the phone from Rikers Island or any correctional facility. Every one of those phone calls are being recorded and sent directly to the district attorney's office.
If you suspect or know that there's a warrant out for your arrest, what should you do?
I believe that you just... Oh man, I'm stuck.
If I suspect there's a warrant out for me, I would like to know why.
I honestly have no idea.
I'm not guilty until proven guilty.
I don't know. I've never had a warrant out for my arrest, but I guess contact an attorney.
There's no guessing. Call an attorney. That is a smart thing to do.
Absolutely. That's the first thing you should do. Contact an attorney. Let them handle it.
Better yet, don't just call any attorney. call the attorneys at Spar and Bernstein. We really care about clients, the community, and protecting your rights.
Prior successful results do not guarantee similar outcome.
It's the Brad and Squeeze Show, heard each and every single weekday right here, live at 9 and live at noon. And today we have Shannon on the show, one of the attorneys here at the law offices of Spar and Bernstein. And obviously we have Brad. And Brad, an interesting question that comes up all the time is aggravated felonies. I need for you to expound a bit more on that so people can understand more about it.
You know, I actually brought Shannon on to discuss aggravated felonies, but, you know, when people hear the term aggravated felonies, it sounds like it's really bad, like you did like the worst thing in the world. You know, they only came up with the term aggravated felonies in 1990, in the Immigration Act of 1990, and they referred to an aggravated felony as murder, drug trafficking, illicit trafficking in firearms. That was it. Yet you were an aggravated felon under those scenarios. In 1996, they expanded the aggravated felony definition. It's over 30 different crimes now are aggravated felonies. You can be found guilty of a theft offense, be sentenced by a judge to more than a year in jail, and have that judge suspend the sentence that you didn't spend a day in jail. You're an aggravated felon.
Wow.
There are so many minor crimes now that are aggravated felonies. It's dizzying for immigration lawyers. It's dizzying for criminal defense attorneys who have to advise their clients that if you plead guilty to an aggravated felony, it's automatic deportation. There is no relief from that unless you're going to file some sort of withholding of removal that you have a fear of returning to your home country because there's you're going to be tortured. There's so many good people who get deported who may have made a mistake in their lifetime, but now are suffering. Not only they're suffering, their family is suffering and it's almost like a double punishment, Squeeze.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Well, with us today, we have someone who has actually served in the services here in the United States, but was deported. And I do believe it was Mexico. Hector Barajas?
Yeah, we have.
Am I pronouncing that right?
Yes, we have Hector here. Hector, how are you?
Hi, good afternoon, guys, and thank you guys for having me on the show.
All right. So, Hector, you served in the military. Is that correct?
Yes, I served from 1995 to 2001.
What service were you in? Air Force, Marines, Army?
I was U.S. Army. I served with the 82nd Airborne, so I did a lot of airborne operations, jumping out of perfectly good airplanes, as we say, and putting my life at risk. I didn't serve in combat, but I did. I'm considered a wartime veteran because of my service during 9/11.
And when did you first come to the United States?
I came to the United States at the age of 7, around 1985.
And you came with a green card?
No, we actually got my green card around the age of 15. My parents fixed through Ronald, I believe it was the Ronald Reagan.
The amnesty.
Yeah, the amnesty,
right.
And I get it to them exactly.
Right, and then your parents got their green cards, your sister got a green card. I understand you have a U.S. citizen daughter who's now age 11, and then at some point after you got your green card, you joined the military and you served honorably, and you were, and I also understand you were honorably discharged from the military as well. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Right. So now, how did you end up in Mexico, deported and separated from your family? What happened?
Sure. Basically, after I got out of the military service, I had problems with alcohol and some drug addiction, and I was involved in an incident where somebody fired a weapon out of a vehicle. Nobody was hurt, but I did end up spending 3 years in prison, 3 years with half, for a which is called PC Code 246 in the state of California, discharge of a firearm into a vehicle, and that's what I was eventually deported for.
And that's an aggravated felony.
Yes.
That is correct.
Right.
Yes.
So you got deported, and what year did you get deported? Because there's no relief from that deportation unless you have a fear of returning to Mexico.
Right.
Exactly. I got deported in 2004, and I didn't want to stay in Mexico, and I came back about 6 months later. And I got in 2009, and then I was deported again, and that's when I decided to stay here.
Right. So you re-entered the United States without permission, which, by the way, you were very lucky that you didn't go back to jail again, because that's actually a crime.
Right. How did they get him in 2009, though?
How did they find you in 2009?
Yeah, how did they find him?
Basically, I was driving around. It was a fender bender, and I had a ticket that I didn't pay. That turned into a warrant. So they took me in. It was time served for the warrant for the ticket, but then I had an immigration hold because I was previously deported. The immigration officer that was handling my case said that because I hadn't committed a new crime, and in my military service, they decided they were just going to reinstate the deportation, and they weren't going to give me any federal time. So
that was very lucky, because a lot of people end up doing time in jail and then getting deported. Now Hector has a very interesting story from here.
Okay.
And we're going to talk a little bit about how he helps other people who have been deported. He's lived it himself, and how he's lived it, and he's learned to cope and survive, and he's taking what he's learned in getting deported, and I assume helping others, not only in Mexico, but around the world. And we're going to talk a little bit about what he does to help people. And in addition to that, we're going to help him with his immigration status and see if we can give him some advice on how to get back here legally.
That's
so,
great.
but Hector, how are you helping deported aliens right now in Mexico?
Sure. So right now I opened up a shelter with other people, and we have a deported veterans support house here in Tijuana, and we're more of a resource center now than actually taking people in. We help them with their VA benefits, with compensation pensions, volunteer counselors. We have a direct relationship with the ACLU, so they review some of their cases. Some of the people are already in some kind of legal resolve with their cases being worked on. We have funeral details for the men, and then we started organizing with other communities. So right now we have veterans being deported to 42 countries that we're working with, that are either in detention, being deported, or already deported to their home country.
Now, how did you get the idea to do all of this? What was the impetus for you to say, okay, I'm deported, and now I'm going to help every other person who gets deported, not only in Mexico, from around the world, reacclimate themselves and be able to try to live a better life for themselves in another country? How did you get this idea? What precipitated it?
It was a need, basically, that I saw that needed to happen. I was already taking in deported veterans into my house before we started the house, and then over the years it just turned more, like I said, we started off as a shelter, and then it turned into a resource center. But that's just because I've always haven't been content with just providing just the basic needs. I think there's more that we can do, and
I think it's
we actually
fabulous.
just had a congressional visit on our second congressional visit on Friday to Tijuana, and we're working with legislators to introduce legislation, which is very conservative. Most of these guys would go with the legislation that's been introduced.
I actually find it quite ironic that here you are helping veterans who have been deported from the United States. You're in Tijuana, you can't come back to the United States, and you have congressmen and congresspeople coming to visit you in Tijuana to see how they can help their fellow military people who also get deported. It's quite ironic.
Exactly.
So let me ask you a question. How many countries are you currently serving right now, in terms of helping deported veterans?
42 countries that we have identified, but it could be more.
Wow. And what kind of aggravated felonies are you seeing that veterans who have been deported in the military, who have served our military, who have served our country? These are veterans who have been to war, possibly have been in combat, defended American freedoms. What kind of things are you seeing them getting deported for?
There's no pattern that we've seen as far as what crime is committed, because it can be anywhere from fraud, from a check, to domestic violence, to a couple of pounds of marijuana, a couple of ounces. But we have seen, one of the things that we have seen is for the combat veterans, there's a direct relationship with their PTSD or their military service, that when they got out of the service they didn't cope well, didn't have the support, and they just basically went into a downhill spiral. But they did serve their prison sentence. We want to be very clear that we don't condone any criminal activity, but this is something that's not new to veterans. There's 22 suicides happening every day in military veterans. We've lost more men in suicides, men and women in suicides, than we lost in the Afghanistan and Iraq.
And it's a very good point that you make. People go into combat. People are in the military. They come back with post-traumatic stress syndrome. I think that's
many things happen when that happens.
Things happen when that, and people are getting deported when maybe the U.S. government should be taking a look at it from a mental health standpoint instead of a deportation and a punishment standpoint. And I think that's a really good point that you're making there.
But you know what, Brad? I mean, he mentioned earlier a couple of things. One, he came to the United States at the age of 7.
Right.
2, he had alcohol and drug problems after getting out of the services.
Right.
Do you think that these would be things that the United States government would actually take in consideration, whereas immigration concerns?
When you had the congressional team come down to Tijuana to see what you're doing, did you have a discussion about it with them?
Yes, they're mostly focusing on the VA benefits, on how they can change certain VA policies. So there was 13 things that we asked that hopefully they could change, because if we can't go home, and I don't see us going home anytime soon, at the very least we could change their economic situation by getting certain VA benefits, and also making sure that they get the medical attention that they should receive. So that was the biggest one.
And also to address Squee's point, in court, that's what we do all the time when we go into court in front of an immigration judge. We bring up all these points in order to be able to show that, hey, why should they go back to this country? They serve their country, but they also are at this point suffering from post-traumatic stress
And
disorder.
they have a family. He has a family here, right?
But the problem with Hector was he was an aggravated felon,
Correct.
and then he re-entered the United States, and then that was automatic deportation without even being able to see an immigration judge.
Absolutely, and that's correct. But even before that, when it was an aggravated felony, I mean, of course, we're not sure what he could have made, but we could have talked about CAT. There's also CAT, Convention Against Torture.
Right.
We could have talked about, hey, going back, we don't know what would happen. Those are things that we would need to explore in order to talk.
I'm very happy that Spar Bernstein is handling this situation by speaking with him, and he's going to be working with him.
Well, hopefully we can. Now, I understand, Hector. I understand that you recently got a pardon from Governor Jerry Brown in California. Tell us about that.
Sure, we submitted 5 pardons. I'm a part of a steering committee for deported veterans in the United States, and we had never thought about asking for pardons, and we asked for 5, and we got 3, and
you were one of
basically them. I don't have exactly. I don't have a criminal record, and I was already in the process of U.S. citizenship about a year before I got the pardon, and now basically there's no reason why they should deny me, but they're looking at maybe denying my case.
Well, let's take a look at your immigration situation, okay?
Sure.
You can look at your immigration, and I'm going to let Shannon, I'm just going to frame it, and I'm going to let Shannon talk about it a little more in detail with you, okay? You can look at your immigration situation from two different vantage points. There's a vantage point of, I'm deported, and I was deported after a re-entry, which is a 20-year bar to even applying to come back with a green card. So let's say you want to look at it from the vantage point of, I want to come back with a green card. You have a 20-year bar after being deported after a prior re-entry from a deportation. It's a 20-year bar. Now, he got a pardon. With that pardon, he no longer has an aggravated felony. It goes down from a 20-year bar to a 10-year bar. He got deported in 2009, so conceivably he can try to reapply for a green card in 2019 and re-enter with a waiver and a petitioner for a green card in 2019. That's one way that you can try to attack his case.
Right.
Okay. Another way, and that would be with a 212 waiver. Another way to try to attack his case, which is what we were talking about with Hector about 2 minutes before we got on the air, was that there are rules and regulations and laws that say that if you were a member of the U.S. Armed Forces and during combat and during times of war, and he was in 9/11, it was a time of war, you can, even if you were an illegal alien in the military, as long as you're in the military, you can apply directly for U.S. citizenship, provided you can prove good moral character. And Hector has told us that his citizenship is in the process of being denied because the government's saying he did not have good moral character in the last 5 years.
Well, what he has is a notice of intent to deny.
Right.
And so with those, basically, you're responding to it and basically explaining why you should not deny and being given that opportunity to do so. So it looks like if he's able to establish his good moral character, what he's been doing, all the equities of what's going on in his life at this point, and the fact that he has an 11-year-old child, I could see them actually granting it.
And quite frankly, Hector, you know, if you can show all your equities, I mean, look at how many people you're helping.
Right.
You have Congress coming down, congressmen coming down to Tijuana because you're doing such a wonderful job. You're doing this in 42 countries as a deported veteran. You have parents here. You were living here since you were 7. You know, you had one bad day. You had a bad day. You were in a car and somebody shot a gun. Nobody got hurt. You did your time. You were punished. But having one bad day doesn't mean you should be punished for the rest of your life.
And there's case law to
And there's case law that backs that up. And Shannon's 100% right. Now, Shannon, let's say, because we're not handling his case at this moment. We just met Hector.
Right.
Okay, and I'll let Hector talk a little bit in a second. Let's say his citizenship is denied. A de novo review would be appropriate?
Absolutely. I mean, you would certainly at that point file an APA claim or even a mandamus actually in federal court and explain why it is that they're wrong in their decision. And at that point, the federal court will make a decision either to remand it back or just give it to him.
Right.
And so normally it works in those ways, especially with these kind of scenarios that you're talking about, the fact that he's military and that he could get the congressional representatives to actually write a letter in his behalf. I could see that actually being excellent and being able to get a review in federal court.
That's good. Hector, what do you think about all this?
One of the things that Shannon mentioned earlier is that when they did send the letter, we are sending a rebuttal letter explaining all the things that we've been doing and why I shouldn't be denied the citizenship and exactly. And about the other stuff, this is the first time that that I was hearing about the other stuff that she mentioned. And the attorney
because you could attack this from two ways. You could say I want to come back as a green card holder because in 2019 if you have a petitioner, or I think actually it's a smarter way is to attack it that I should be a citizen because I was in the military, and then that solves all your problems, and that's probably the fastest way to do it.
Yes.
And quite frankly, if they deny you. And what I would do actually is I would, submit as much documentation as you can to show good moral character. I mean, you must have a ton of this, okay? And I mean, you have to have good moral character to have even gotten the pardon by a governor.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's a much higher burden than it is to show good moral character for citizenship. And I would give him 90 days. Literally 90 days to make a decision to make you a citizen. If not, I would be bringing it into federal court.
Right, because you can file a mandamus at that time if you feel that it's an unreasonable delay in making a decision on the case.
All right, but so Hector, I know you have your own attorneys. Obviously, we're happy to help you any way we can. So if you want, we can talk further with you off the air. Hector, can you give us how, if anybody wanted to reach you or contact you, you're doing such wonderful work, how they can reach you, how they, do you accept donations for what you're doing? Tell us a little bit about your organization and how they can contact you and your organization.
Sure, they can definitely contact us, and it looks like you guys already put up the website information. So we have all the information on there, how they can donate, what kind of things we need, also which bills and legislation are in right now that they can support. And it's very important that we continue to support our men and women regardless of where they're at. Oddly enough, the only way I can return right now is if I get hit by a bus. Then I can be taken back to the United States. They'll put me in a coffin and give me the 21 gun salute.
Well, yeah,
we've had that happen.
Yeah, I mean, yes, you can come back to be buried in Arlington National Cemetery, but you can't come back to live in America in the meantime. But I will tell you, Hector, you are a true American hero. A true American hero, somebody who has really lived what America stands for. Immigrating to America, making a life for yourself, serving your country, being able to be given other people second chances in life, helping other people. That's what America's about. I wish Donald Trump watches this. I wish all the senators watch this, the congressmen watch this. You deserve to be back in America, and I think one day you're going to, believe it or not.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
Okay, and before you go, just want to remind people that, of course, you can go to the website deportedveteransupporthouse.org to find out more about what it is that Hector does in helping deported veterans all over the world. Once again, Hector, thank you so much for being on the show here, Brad and Squeeze Show.
Thank you, guys. And I just wanted to point out one last thing, that these are the kind of things that are very important, that we raise awareness and we educate people on citizenship, that it's not automatic, so they can reach out to attorneys or their local JAG officers so people can become citizens, because a lot of us were under the impression or miseducated, or we didn't have a good chain of command. So thank you guys for having us on, and hopefully more people will, that if you're not a U.S. citizen, go out there and contact the right immigration lawyer so you can start your process, because you could have a bad day, you could and you could end up in my situation.
I can imagine, Hector, how many veterans in the military think that they're citizens and probably not.
Right.
That you come across.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thanks again.
And thank you for your time.
It's a pleasure.
Okay.
All right. There you have it, Hector Barajas. Remember to, of course, go to his website, check him out, find him what it is that he does, and spread the word around the world about him helping out deported veterans.
I guarantee you that we haven't heard the last of Hector, and I think this is going to end up very happily for him. He's going to come back.
We got our fingers crossed and our prayers.
And we're going to see him face to face with his U.S. passport. That's what I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Shannon, thank you also for being here with us.
Thank you, Shannon.
Thank you for having me.
Right. Last second edition here, Shannon. Thank you very much.
I know. Thank you.
Right, she's awesome, Shannon.
Thank
I love her.
Yeah,
it's always a pleasure having her.
Yeah. You know, I'm an American citizen, but if I had to pick, like, I love all the lawyers here, but if, like, I'm in deportation, I'm not going to put my foot in my mouth.
Go on. Open mouth, insert foot.
If they wanted,
open mouth, insert foot.
If they wanted to deport me, I wouldn't want anyone next to me than Shannon.
Good.
Thank you.
Yeah, I like that.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
So now we're coming to the hard stop. This is the time when everything comes to a stop, Squeeze. We need like screeching noise. If we can get screeching noise in the future, like a whole, what I would love for this hard stop.
We should get an effects
machine. Right, an effects machine, yeah. And we get like a hard stop, it goes, like a big crash. Okay?
Just like
and
when your credit crashes.
Right, when your credit crashes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You can't get anything.
You can't get anywhere.
Can't move.
Right, because we have to come to
a dent.
At the 30 mark, we have to come to a huge halt.
I mean, it's not like we can't do it forever now.
Halt.
I mean, like,
You ever see those old movies where the cop goes, halt, halt? Who goes there?
Yep.
You know who goes there? USA Credit is going there. They're going there to help you with your credit. They're going there to make your credit better.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. Get rid of those late
payments. They
payments.
don't halt it. They make it better.
Get rid of those
just
collections.
The show comes to a halt. That's
Get
basically
rid of those
it.
tax liens.
Whatever they do.
Yep.
It doesn't matter what they do as long as your credit goes up because it's not, it's not how you feel, it's how you look. And you look bad. You look bad with bad credit.
Yep.
Right? It's one of those things, credit is like vain. It's like all vanity. Okay? It's what you look on the outside.
Yep.
Has nothing to do with you on the inside. And if your credit's below 700, you look bad. Your credit's above 700, you look beautiful. Yeah. That's basically it, Squeeze, in a nutshell. True. We have to come to a halt at the 30 mark every day to tell everybody if your credit's below 700, you look bad. If your credit's above 700, you look beautiful. If your credit is below 700, you should call USA Credit Repair at 1-800-872-7177. They will talk to you absolutely for free in the beginning. It's going to eventually cost you money, but they're going to pull your credit report. They're going to tell you what's on there that's good and what's on there that is ugly. And then they're going to start looking at the ugly stuff, and, they work on your vanity.
So like Scott, man. Go on.
They work on your vanity. And they're going to get rid of the ugly stuff and keep the pretty stuff. And in 90 days, they give you a money-back guarantee that if they do not get your credit up within 90 days, you will get your money back like that. They'll throw it right back at you. Look, they're going to throw it right back at you. Boom. You see this? 90 days, I will have to give you back your money because Squeeze can't do it. Watch, it goes like that. They throw it right back at you. So, call them right now, 1-800-872-7177, 1-800-872-7177. Right now, USA Credit Repair are proud sponsors. They were not proud. They were not proud yesterday. I will tell you that.
Oh,
they were unhappy, angry sponsors from the South Pole.
It's like having a girlfriend.
They were angry sponsors from the South Pole, and I said, I only want to deal with the USA Credit people who come from the North Pole. Those are the happy USA Credit people. The angry USA Credit people are from the South Pole. And so I had a whole bunch of South Pole guys in yesterday, and I said, get out of my office and get the hell back to the South Pole. Exactly. I want to deal with the USA Credit Repair people from the North Pole. Yep. And they're all happy, so they're back now. 1-800-872-7177, 1-800-872-7177. And by the way, what I want to tell everybody now, in all seriousness, do call them. Okay? Yeah, they are not in the South Pole and the North Pole. Right. They are right here in New York City, and they will help you with your credit. 1-800-872-7177. But I do want to say, Squeeze, we now that we're done with the U.S., unless you have something else to say about USA Credit.
All I have to say is 1-800-USA-7177.
That's all you got
call
to
now.
say.
Everybody with bad credit, call.
That's all you got
now.
to say.
That's it. I mean, as a matter of fact, everyone who is, I can't say watching, but everyone who is listening right now, if you call, I am going to allow,
We're
Yeah. See how many people watching?
Yeah.
So I just want to say, call right now, and we'll give you a free credit repair for the next 30 days.
This is Kim Moore with the Brad and Squeeze Show, and today we are asking New Yorkers questions about immigration. Let's find out how much they know. Are you allowed to get a green card if you have a criminal record?
Not sure.
No, you're not allowed to get a green card.
Nobody should be. Nobody should be.
Yes and no. It depends. Like, if you have a serious crime, you can't.
Maybe it depends on the offense. Maybe felonies and above, you're not allowed to have a green card.
But definitely you could actually ask somebody, go online and find out.
It depends. Immigration law is very complex.
There's so many factors such as when did you actually get convicted? Were you a child?
If an immigrations and customs enforcement officer stops you, do you know what your rights are?
Nope.
I'll just say I don't know.
For police guard or wait, say it again.
No, I would not know all my rights without consulting something legal.
Absolutely. I mean, you have the First Amendment, which is freedom of speech. Second Amendment, I think it's the right to bear arms.
If you're going to exercise your right to bear arms, it's not a good idea to do that to an immigrations and customs enforcement officer. That's going to end in bad news, and you might end up on the news as one of those casualties.
It really depends on where you're stopped. But if an immigration officer stops you and you don't have status in the United States, then clearly at this point you have a right to remain silent. But if you don't have the right to enter the United States, you are basically able to state if you're afraid to go back to your country, they will allow you to be able to do an asylum case in the United States.
What are some policy changes that Donald Trump has made since he's come into office?
I know he's the DREAM Act has been brought up amongst Congress, and it's been pressured to be removed.
Grandparents and aunts and uncles and first cousins can no longer come to this country for whatever reason. I think immediate family, parents, children can still come.
Cutting H-1B visas for immigrants and stuff like that. I don't know whether it's right or wrong. I mean, it might be wrong for the country, but I'm not sure.
There have been significant changes in immigration policy since Trump took office. Some of them definitely pertaining to deportation defense has been anyone who has an order of removal. If they've been able to report to what they call an order of supervision, it's almost similar to probation. Those individuals are routinely being picked up.
Do you know what a sanctuary city is?
Sanctuary city. It's a holy city of some sort. Sanctuary city, memorizing something. Is it with religion?
Like the domain city, like within the area, or like New York City itself. Basically, yeah, like in a very how can I say it?
Is that a city where they're not allowed to deport you? Possibly. I'm not honestly sure what that is.
A sanctuary city.
What is a sanctuary city, or name one?
Both.
I guess it's a city where you can't enter. For example, you can't go through.
It actually means the complete opposite. They won't stop you from coming in. Rather, they provide protection to undocumented immigrants.
Two cities that come to mind is New York City and Boston. They have indicated that they're going to protect their citizens, whether they're immigrants or not, and not work with the federal government in order to deport them.
If you are married to a U.S. citizen, do you automatically get a green card?
I believe that is no. I think there's some procedures and processes.
I think you get the potential to have one. I don't think you automatically get one.
No, you don't.
Do you know what it takes?
You have to prove it, and then you have to file for them to get a green card, and it takes, I think, about 3 months or so.
Yes, I think yeah. If you're married to a citizen, you do get a green card.
No, you don't automatically get a green card. There's a process.
U.S. citizen spouse would have to sponsor you for a green card, and then you would have to attend an interview.
More importantly, you need to sit down with an attorney to discuss whether or not you're eligible to get the green card. We need to know how you entered the country. Did you actually provide any type of fraudulent documents to an immigration officer? Have you ever lied to an immigration officer?
How do you prove that you're in a real marriage?
Well, obviously when people get married, they get marriage certificates.
I'm pretty sure it doesn't happen over a couple of months. Maybe it actually takes like a year or maybe even 2.
They come to your house and they check to make sure that you're not lying. And they look through your things to make sure everything is, in place.
It is possible that immigration can show up at your house basically to verify if you're in a real marriage. That has happened. Normally it happens after an interview.
When you're at the interview, don't sit there looking like you don't want to be there, even if you got into a fight with your spouse right before the interview. Be able to present lots of documentary evidence, for example, jointly filed tax returns.
Some people may not have a lot of documentation, but your ability to be able to answer questions, the ability to be able to show pictures that are certainly in certain different places.
I understand that it's an uncomfortable situation because you are providing intimate details about your relationship and your marriage to your spouse to a complete stranger. But it's important that you remain calm and you provide detailed answers to the immigration officer's questions.
There are experienced immigration attorneys that will be able to assist you with complex cases, anything dealing with whether it's employment-based, criminal immigration cases, or just getting a green card via marriage-based, because every case is different and every case usually has some type of problem in it that needs to be resolved, and we are here to help you. So contact the law offices of Spar and Bernstein.
Prior successful results do not guarantee similar outcome.
All right, so this is the Brad and Squeeze Show. Everybody knows that. But right now, we've got a segment called Bradified Marriage. Now, folks, David Squeeze Annakie, did not know anything about this. We've got this new executive producer. She didn't tell me anything about Bradified Marriage. Kim definitely didn't tell me, Miss Audience.
You don't even know what Bradified Marriage is?
I don't know what Bradified Marriage. I know about Braducation, which I love. Right. But Bradified Marriage, I don't know. I feel like I'm getting squeezed out. But I still love Brad.
So we're gonna find out about it.
What is Bradified Marriage?
Well, first of all, I just want to introduce Tamika and Kevin.
Okay.
Tamika has been watching us since we started on Facebook and YouTube from almost 9 months ago.
And they're here on Skype.
She's part of the Brad Squad. She's part of Team Squeeze.
You know that.
Are you more Brad Squad or Team Squeeze, Tamika?
Don't go there, Brad.
I have to go there.
No,
I'm not
go
insulted.
there.
I'm not insulted.
Don't. Listen.
I'm not going to put. All right, should I put you on the spot?
Yes, you did. Yeah? I will uninvite you from fiction if you do that.
So Tamika's been watching us for a long time. She's a U.S. citizen. We have Kevin. Tamika's out in Long Island, right?
Right. And Kevin's where? Let me guess.
Tamika's a U.S. citizen, and Kevin's down in Jamaica.
Okay.
Tamika has met Kevin. They have been in a relationship, and she then went down to Jamaica and married him. And they have visited several times since. She's in the process of filing for Kevin to get his green card. They're coming up to Kevin's interview at the U.S. Embassy in the next few weeks, or in the next couple of months for certain. You didn't get an interview date yet, but I know it's coming up. Is that correct?
Definitely.
Okay. So Kevin's anxious to come up here, join Tamika in the United States with his green card, and as part of the interview process,
Sounds like a love story.
Yeah, it is a love story.
Yeah.
As part of the interview process that they have to go through, one of the things that they're going to have to do is prove that it's a bona fide marriage.
Okay.
And usually what happens, and not all the time, but what you should do is Tamika should go down to the U.S. Embassy and escort Kevin for the interview. Kevin shouldn't go by himself. Now, at that interview, they're going to ask Tamika and Kevin questions that only people in a bona fide marriage...
So the immigration officer is going to ask...
The consular officer is going to ask them questions...
Together or separate rooms?
Well, they're going to start together, and then if they really start screwing up, then it's going to be separate.
Like, hold up.
Yeah, hold up, exactly, right. So they're going to ask questions to prove that, is this a real marriage? Is Kevin really in love with Tamika? Is Tamika really in love with Kevin? Are Kevin and Tamika going? Well, yeah, I mean, but they're a good-looking couple. But we got to see the words that come out of their mouths.
All right.
And is Kevin and Tamika? Is Kevin going to come live with Tamika in Long Island? Are they going to start, maybe start a family together, but certainly live together as husband and wife? Share the same economic relationship, which is sharing the proceeds of the marriage, sharing the debts of the marriage, and are they going to be sharing the same bed and the same bedroom and the same home and the same life? That's what they're going to be asking questions about. So this segment that we've called the Bradified Marriage it's like a little... what they do is they play the dating game in the immigration interview, and you don't even realize that they're
Let me
playing.
guess.
This
That's
is
what
gonna-
we're going to be doing now?
We're going to do the dating game because
I can't
that's
wait.
basically what they do. And our producer Jill has called this you have to give it the bratified stamp that
Bratified.
you guys are going to pass your interview.
All
so
right.
I have some questions here on our card.
Let's find out if both of you are bratified.
Okay.
All right.
So what we're going to do, you have a piece of paper in front of you both, right?
Hold up your paper. Let
Hold
me
up
see.
your papers.
Want to make sure.
Okay.
All right.
There's nothing written on the papers.
All right, good,
Okay.
good.
And guys,
Okay, you can put them down now.
you don't know any of the questions that we are about to ask you. Is that correct?
Right.
Nobody has shared anything with you in advance. Is that correct?
No. Correct. Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to ask you questions that it's very possible. We don't know what you're going to be asked at the U.S. Embassy when you go in for your marriage interview, but we're going to ask you questions that we've heard time and time again that when you go in that this is a good chance this question is going to be asked. And they're going to compare your answers and see if your answers match. So what we're going to do now is see how well you're going to do at your upcoming interview.
Can I ask the first question?
Yes, you can.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, welcome to the Bratified Marriage segment right here on the Brad and Squeeze Show. Heard each and every single weekday, live at 9 a.m. and live at noon. Let's go to the first question. Tamika
and
Kevin.
Right.
Where did you go on your first date?
Don't say anything. Write it down.
Write it down. Where did you go on your first date? Write it down right now. And once again, folks, as they write it down, we got to remind you the number to call in is 1-800-529-5465. That's 1-800-529-5465 to get your questions answered right here on the Brad and Squeeze Show as we ask Tamika and Kevin where they went on
All
their
right, wait,
first
don't
date.
put it up yet. Are you
Don't put it
both?
up yet.
Are you both?
Brad,
Are you
back to you.
both done? Are you both done?
Definitely.
Okay, all right. So now together at the same time on the count of three, put up the paper and let's see if they were on the same date on their first marriage. Okay. Wait, Tamika, put it up.
Tamika, put up yours. Come on.
Put it up.
Come
What
on, put
did
it
it say?
Hellshire Beach.
Hellshire Beach.
Oh, hold up.
Whoa. What happened there?
What the hell happened
What
there?
happened there?
Someone is thinking fish, and
What?
someone is thinking fast food at
Whoa. I was not expecting them.
Someone explain that. Who wants to
What
explain
happened?
that one? Maybe it depends on what they call the first date.
Yeah, what happened? Why did you get that one wrong?
Elsha wasn't like a real date though. But it's like agreed to meet and stuff like that.
Oh, so that's what you meant. But it wasn't a first date.
But it wasn't a date though.
Tamika.
But went to TGIF.
What happened there?
Okay, so I would say the first date would be Elsha. That's the first time we met.
See, women are always more, you know.
Now, I want you to know something. Yeah, go ahead. So the first time you met was considered a date, and he said no. The first time he actually took you out and paid for a dinner was your date.
I'm with Kevin.
Okay.
When we went to Fridays was last year, so I would not consider that as a first date.
Was that your second date?
That's the second date.
All right. Now I will say this. Okay. They swear on, and I believe them.
Right.
Okay. They swear on a stack of Bibles. This is an absolutely real, bona fide, loving marriage, and they have already gone in.
Right.
To the U.S. Embassy and screwed up their first question.
So the first
People
question,
in real loving marriages screw these cases up all the time because they're not prepared ahead of time.
So
you know,
think
people
about that,
always
guys.
say, "Oh, it's a real marriage. I don't need a lawyer." Here it is. Here it is. All right,
and I take that seriously. So that's question number
all right,
one.
all right, so let's try again now. Okay.
All right, so-
all right,
right.
question number two.
Yeah.
This is another question that you may very well hear on your marriage interview. How did you celebrate your most recent anniversary? And it's now, have you been married for more than 1 year? Let me ask you a question. Do you celebrate anniversaries? Is there an anniversary you celebrate? So stop. They're writing.
Yeah, of
they're
course.
just writing.
You asked them a question.
Okay, so they're
right.
writing. They're writing. Okay. All right, I guess there is an anniversary.
So the relationship has been for more than 1 year, guys?
More than 1 year, yes. So where did they celebrate their most recent anniversary? I assume they had an anniversary.
Kevin already wrote it down.
Kevin wrote it down.
Let's see what Tamika
All right, if Kevin writes TGIF and Tamika writes Hellfire Beach, we are in a lot. We're Hellshire Beach. We're in
Jamaica, we say Hellshire.
Hellshire.
Yeah.
We're in a lot of trouble if everything they do is a TGIF.
Or Hellshire.
Or Hellshire. Can you imagine everything? It's like, what happened? TGIF, right? Where did you propose? TGIF. Yep. All right, let's see what it is. All right, put it up.
For me, it's blind.
What is it? We don't celebrate.
We didn't celebrate.
I was here, and what I can't see.
And he put blank.
And he put blank.
So they're
All
correct.
right, all right, 1 for 2.
That's good. That's good.
1 for 2. All right, very good.
All
okay, so. All right.
I'm up, man.
You're up. Okay.
You're up. My turn, man.
Your turn.
Okay. You're stealing my turn. All right. So listen up. Question number 3. You're still inside of the United States Embassy, and you're being asked a question right here in Ratified Marriage. We are going to ask you this question. Where did Tamika work when you first met her, Kevin?
At Hellshire Beach. When you, not at TGIF. When you first met her at Hellshire Beach, okay? I just got to make... All right, Tamika, you got to write it also, okay?
All right, so both of you still have to write it, all right? So, Kevin,
let's see.
You got to write it. Tamika, you got to write it. Come on, chop, chop. Don't be hiding there, Kevin. I don't want to think that you're kind of stealing.
Kevin's off the...
You got to get back on camera.
Get back on camera, Kevin. He's now getting shy.
Yeah.
He's writing away.
All right.
All right, let's see.
Once again, this is the Brad and Squeeze Show featuring the Bratified Marriage
segment. Bratified Marriage segment. And by the way, to call Spar and Bernstein, it's so important. Look at this. These are people who are in love and have already only gotten 1 out of 2 questions right.
Right.
Okay, and they think that they're just going to breeze through. It's not so easy, folks. Right. It's not so easy. All right, you ready to put it up? All right, let's see. Where was Tamika working? What does it say? I can't read. I don't have my glasses. HHA in...
The Home Health.
In Long Island.
Yeah, that's it. That's correct.
Yeah,
that's the same thing. HHA is Home Health.
Home Health?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. 2 for 3.
Yeah, Home Health.
2 for 3.
Way to go, man. Go to bed. You better check out where your woman works. All right.
All right, you ready for this one? How did Kevin propose? How did he propose to you? I assume he proposed. I assume Tamika didn't propose to Kevin.
Hey.
I assume. I mean, it's a modern world. Who knows?
I was proposed to the other day.
assume you were.
Yeah.
I assume Kevin proposed to Tamika.
Mm-hmm.
I presume that. Let's see.
Okay. Let's see. Once again, the Bratified Marriage segment. You ready for them to show?
We're ready to show. You guys ready? Kevin?
Kevin.
Yes.
Your
You
pen
there?
ran out of ink or are you using a pencil?
Okay, you ready? Where did it go? Over the phone! Very romantic, Kevin. Very, very romantic. That was one of the most... I proposed over the telephone.
Look, man.
That was very romantic there.
Hey.
Yeah, but at least they got it right.
At least it wasn't in Paris where I was the other day.
Yeah, at least they got it right.
You know, I was there with a girl and I didn't propose again.
All right. So Squeeze is going to ask one more question. I'm going to ask one more question. And if you get both of them right, we're going to give you a Bratified stamp that everything should go well, hopefully well at your interview. All right, Squeeze.
All right, I'm going to ask this one. All right, and it's very important that you all get this one correct. If not, I don't know, you're going to have a serious talk with Brad. Kevin, back at you again, man. What did Tamika wear on your wedding day?
Oh, she's gonna smack you if you get this one wrong.
That's what I'm saying. What did Tamika wear?
Smack you right across the entire
on her wedding
Caribbean
day?
Sea. All right, if you get this one wrong, you better, Kevin. There's a lot of pressure on you on this one.
If you get this one wrong, they could put you in what's called a Stokes interview.
In a Stokes interview, yeah. You don't know what your wife wore on her wedding day.
You don't want to go in a Stokes interview.
Yeah. All right.
All right. So let's see. I want to see both of you write it down right here in the Bratified Marriage segment. All right. And we'll expound a little bit later on what the Stokes interview is.
The Stokes interview is when they separate you into 2 different rooms and you don't hear. Basically, what we're doing right now, we're actually giving them a Stokes. Yeah. We're actually giving them a Stokes interview as we speak.
Right. But normally when they go in, it'd be both of them
together. Correct.
But when they separate it, it's called a Stokes interview.
Correct.
All right. There you go. Right. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, we're here on the Bratified Marriage segment. We are here on the Brad and Squeeze Show. And the segment, of course, that we are into is the Bratified Marriage segment. We must remind you that you've got to call 1-800-529-5465. That's 1-800-LAWLIK.
And that's the number, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but that's the number for my law office. The law office is Spar and Bernstein. It's also the telephone number to get on our show if you want to join the show, either by Skype like Tamika and Kevin are doing, or just going on through the old-fashioned way of getting on the telephone.
Thank you so much for interrupting me and telling me that.
I apologize.
Right. And as I was going to say, also that the office is located here at 225 Broadway in New York City on the 5th floor. They're open 6 days a week. And once again, you can catch the segments live at 9 and live at at noon. Let's go to Tamika
All
and
right,
Kevin.
you ready? What did Tamika
Drum
wear
roll,
on her
please.
wedding day? You ready, guys? Let's put it up and see.
Tamika's quick on the draw. White wedding dress.
White wedding dress with a veil.
And
Kevin,
put it back.
Kevin,
Put
that
it
was
back
pretty
up.
fast.
Kevin, put it back
That
up.
was pretty fast. What? White and black? What? Red and black?
Hold on.
Whoa. Put that back. Were you at the same wedding as your wife? Red and black.
Lingerie?
Lingerie. Okay, you guys were asking two different...
Oh, I get what he's saying. I get what he's saying. I get what he's saying now.
We weren't asking that.
I get what he's saying. I don't blame him. I don't blame him. I'll tell you what.
He was got red and white lingerie. So he said I wear a white dress with a veil.
There was a miscommunication on my part. I should have been specific at the wedding.
At the wedding, not in the bedroom.
Right. So here's what then. I'm gonna ask a different question. All right.
That was funny.
You both have slept in a bed together, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
A few times, right?
Yes.
Okay, now generally it's Tamika goes to Jamaica.
Right.
So you're going to ask about
what I'm
the
saying.
bed in Jamaica.
Right.
Okay.
So Kevin, I presume Kevin's got his bed in Jamaica.
I assume, right.
I'm quite sure Tamika went there and slept in that bed.
Correct, I assume.
So I have a question to ask, Tamika. What side of the bed does Kevin sleep on? Come on, Kevin. Both of you got to write it down.
Also, yeah, you can't get away with this, Kevin. Then Kevin's going to say, "I sleep on the side of the bed with the red lingerie."
The red and black.
The red and black lingerie. I sleep on the side of the bed with the woman on the red and black lingerie.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow, Tamika, very, very.
Let
us find out.
Tamika, that's a little. We should have Tamika on our too much information segment. TMI segment.
Kevin is what you should bring on it.
Yeah. Yeah, Tamika with the too much information, the red and black lingerie. Every time now I see Tamika, I'm gonna have this, the red and black lingerie in my head. All right, you guys ready?
All right.
What side of the bed? The question was, what side of the bed does Kevin sleep on?
All right. And
Tamika?
Okay.
Yes.
All right. All right, you ready? Let's put it up.
Both of you put it up now.
Let's see. I can't see what she wrote. What does she write? Somebody read that to me.
At the side.
On the side.
Facing the.
On the side.
Facing the door because the bed was in the middle.
Bed was in the middle. On the side by the door, and Kevin writes.
Kevin, any side. Bring it over to the left a little. To the right.
Side,
to your right. I'm sorry. To your right.
Other way. Any side of
the bed.
Any side of the bed.
Any side of the bed.
What kind of answer is that? What kind of answer is that?
I guess it just.
All right.
He's so happy to see her, just jumping.
All right, so we're going to go to the final question. All right. I don't know if they even answered that question right or not. That was like a half and half one. All right. Here's the final question. All right. The final question. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
What was the last movie the two of you watched together? The last. Now, Kevin's like, was the movie at home on TV? Was the movie in the theater? The last movie you saw together, whether it was the theater, at home, on TV, that you were together and you watched.
Yeah.
What was the name of that movie? And if it's like X-rated, come up with the one before.
So when they're being interviewed by the immigration officer, could they say at the movie theater or at home?
Yes, they can absolutely ask that, right? To be clarified what exactly you're trying to ask.
Okay, I got you. Right. It's very important.
But by the way, that's why a lot of times you have an attorney there.
Precisely.
To clarify these situations.
Right.
I mean, like we could say, what was the last? What did you do? The first date, and Kevin said we went out for hamburgers, and Tamika said we went to McDonald's, and they go, aha, that's wrong. But obviously I ate, hamburger. Exactly. Or even if their question was, well, Kevin didn't realize that was the first date on the beach.
Exactly.
So you got to. That's why you have to have lawyers there to clarify it. Right. All right, are you ready? What was the last movie you saw together? I really want to ratify this marriage. I hope you get this one right. I'm hoping. I got my fingers crossed. Jamaica Mafia. Then come to
town. Then come to town.
You guys watched two different movies.
Yeah, by the way, I was in Jamaica Mafia.
You guys watched two different movies.
Yes.
How did that happen?
No, because actually it was the same night. The two movies were the same night.
The two movies were the same night? You see, again, you got to clarify that.
That's the reason why it's good to have an attorney there.
What was the last movie? Was it the first one or the second one? What was the last movie you watched that night?
This was the first one.
Right.
That was the second one.
Did Squeeze any good in Jamaica Mafia? He was in that movie.
That's only in the first.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, he did. There was a guy by the name of Lance in that movie
that I was talking about.
And Squeeze goes, "Yeah, I'm gonna." What was your line as Lance in the movie?
When you get to Jamaica,
Squeeze walks out of the Rolls Royce, is like
in
the Rolls Royce, and he had a line. And
so everybody's gonna go watch Jamaica Mafia now.
Yeah.
I think we need to get some more.
All right, guys, this is the deal. All right, you obviously, I can tell.
What would happen now?
I can tell that you guys are in a real marriage, but you want to know what? You may have failed your interview because you got so many of those questions wrong. You got to really think ahead of time, and speak with your spouse about how do we answer, and you don't try to outsmart them. If you don't understand, like Kevin, for example, he said we watched two movies that night. Okay, Kevin needs to speak up and say, we watched two movies the last night. I'm not sure which one my wife's going to pick, but we watched both of these movies. You gotta speak up a little bit. When we asked where was your first date, you got to clarify. Well, was it the first time we met, or was it the first time that we went out on a formal date? Because because Tamika took it as the first time we met. And you took it as, Kevin, our first formal date. So you got to make sure when the officer asks these questions that you clarify. And it's really a clarification between you and your spouse, not so much clarification between you and the officer. So that way you make sure that you and your spouse are on the same page. But you're asking the officer that question. Well, is it the first time we met, or is it our first formal date? The last time we saw a movie, we watched a double feature. Do you want to know about both movies or the actual second movie that we watched?
So in other words, don't be afraid to ask
Or
questions.
even like when they ask, we asked, because you got 3 out of 5 questions wrong. All right? I mean, think about it. You got 3 out of 5 wrong. So when they ask, what did your wife wear on her wedding day? Do you mean at the ceremony, or do you mean in the bedroom in the evening?
Ask that question.
Make sure that you clarify what's being asked so that both of you are on the same page.
My name's Joseph.
My name's Sarah.
Thanks to the law firm of Spar and Bernstein, we are here today so that we can go through my wife's citizenship ceremony to become an American citizen.
I'm so excited. I'm from original country, Jordan. I came to America 2004. In the beginning of my process, the problem threw me in an ocean.
I knew when those letters started showing up, we needed a lawyer. When they say remove, that means we're taking you out. It affected us both deeply. My wife later on saw a commercial for the firm of Spar and Bernstein. And I said, what have we got to lose?
Bernstein, he helps me a lot. I recommended everyone. They're not a business, they are family. They care about you, they care about your case, they care about your problem. They don't leave you until when your problem solved.
4 years later, the nightmare we were going through at the time is now over.
I will recommend it, Spar, Bernstein, for everybody. When I was a teenager, I have a dream, to come to United States, and this dream grow with me. And one day my mother, before when she passed away, she said, your dream will become truth one day. It's her spirit. I felt she's around me. I can live my dream in a great country without any interruption. A freedom to do anything you want. Like me, I got my medical license and I'm working. This is America, a great country.
Prior successful results do not guarantee similar outcome.
Thanks for watching. We'll be back at noon with more of the best of Brad and Squee Show. And tune in tomorrow for brand new live Halloween spooktacular show.
The proceeding was informational only and not specific legal advice. Consult an attorney about your individual situation. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome in the future. To make an appointment with the Spar & Bernstein Law Firm located at 225 Broadway in New York City, call 1-800-529-5465. That's 1-800-529-5465. Easily remembered, 1-800-LAWLINK. That's 1-800-LAWLINK. Once again, make a call to 1-800-529-5465. And of course, link up with the law offices of Spar & Bernstein located at 225 Broadway on the 5th floor. If I were you out there, make the call, make the link, make the connection, make it Spar and Bernstein. 1-800-LAWLINK. That's 1-800-529-5465.